From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, good morning, everyone. We start, of course, with the fires, and I wanted to show you here this in the early morning hours here what kind of happened overnight. So you can see right before sunset where most of the activity was. We saw a lot of these fires burning. So what this satellite is doing is detecting the heat coming in from the fires. And when they're burning really hot, it can really detect it. So you start seeing a lot of the bright oranges, and not to mention even a little bit of white in there, and that indicates that the fire was burning really hot. So that's what we saw here last night and even yesterday evening. Now the only one that we're seeing here early this morning is the pilot fire right here. It doesn't look like it's intensifying. It just looks like it's kind of holding on to some of its heat and its strength there. So this is a good sign. When we can't see a lot of these heat signatures, it's a good sign to know that the fire isn't really burning too terribly hot. All right, let's get out of this and get you to the weather computer. And we'll kind of show you again, most of the activity is in the northwest side of the state here. Seeing some new pop-ups here coming up on the satellite image here. And what this is basically the satellite can detect certain heat signatures on the ground here, and a lot of times, of course, they're going to be the fires. But this is, of course, the main area that we've got to really watch here, and we're continuing to monitoring here very closely. So we take a look at the fire perimeters. Now, the fire perimeters right now are from late last night that we're looking at here. So the latest perimeters coming in. And keep in mind, too, these are just a general idea of distances. So it's taking the outward perimeter of that fire, right? And then I'm taking a line, and this is a measuring tool that's in the computer system. So it works great, and it's fairly accurate. So it gives you an idea, not an exact, but an idea of how far that edge of that perimeter is, the closest edge of that perimeter is to a particular town. So Horse Creek, for example, about 2.6 miles, a little less than a mile for Scott Bar, and it's these little spot fires on the south side of the head fire. On the northeast side of the head fire, it's about 9 miles from Klamath River. And then we take you out to the west here, northwest side here, the head fire, 7.5 miles approximately to Sayad Valley and about 15.5 miles from Happy Camp. We take you to the southeast side of the head fire, about 18 miles from Wairika, taking it down into Scott Valley. Fort Jones, about 13.7 miles. And there's a look at Etna at approximately 22 miles. Let's take it to the south into Trinity County. You've got the deep fire here. Looks like it's grown a little bit, mainly to the south and southeast, a little bit here. About Coffee Creek, about 14.9 miles, 11.1 miles at Trinity Center, Covington Mill, a little over 6 miles, and just a little over 4.2 miles for the Trinity Alps Resort that we're looking at right there. All right, let's take you to the south side of the fire here and some of the larger communities. Here's the Highway 299 corridor. So it doesn't kind of have to head up over some mountains and really kind of a long way to go, but you can see about 12.3 miles, Weaverville, 13.7 Junction City, and for Helena, about 13.9 miles. So that's kind of the latest look at those fire perimeters. What I want to do now is show you what we've got going on with those the smoke fire. Whew, I got to zoom it out here. All right, but there you can see here, looks like we are seeing some of that smoke this morning. Probably going to be dealing with some smoky skies, especially for some of us in the morning hours. Not terrible, but you may smell some smoke this morning. It's going to be more in the way of some haze, but maybe still smelling a little bit of smoke even this evening. But most of the smoke, as you can clearly see, is in the vicinity of the fires off to the north and to the west. We're really not seeing this smoke spread really very far, but you can see as we go into Saturday morning, once again, most of the smoke still off to the north and west, and actually not looking all that bad for the valley Saturday morning, so we might get some relief from that smoke in the valley. Let's take a look at the headlines. Scattered mountain thunderstorms through the weekend, big cool down this weekend also, but we're talking about more rain by early next week. Hurricane Hillary? Yeah, we've got a hurricane down over the Pacific Ocean that could have an impact on our weather early next week. It's cooling off a bit, but temperature's still hot, about 100 degrees for Redding, upper 90s for Red Bluff and Chico. And for the mountains, of course, we've got the chance for thunderstorms. I don't think we're going to see any showers or thunderstorms, or really much in the way of cloud cover for the valley from these storms. It's not going to be quite as active today as it was yesterday. So take a look at the activity here. See this swirling area of low pressure. Now, here's the thing. The area of low pressure has been off to the west. Now it's shifting a little bit more to the east. We're not getting that direct feed of moisture coming into Northern California, so it doesn't have as much moisture to work with, but there still is moisture for the atmosphere to work with, and that's why we still anticipate to see thunderstorms here later this afternoon in the mountains. You'll see that on Futurecast taking you through the afternoon. You see how it's just not as active in the afternoon? They'll get a little bit more active getting closer to the evening hours, but not by much. I mean, by 10 o'clock Friday, for the most part today, for the most part tonight, it's going to be pretty much drying out, not that bad. And then we actually have a disturbance that's going to be coming through some of the eastern mountains, in particular Plumas County, tomorrow morning at about 3 a.m., and then that really pretty much fizzles out. We may start the morning off Saturday in the valley with some clouds, but overall, it should just be in the form of clouds. I'm not anticipating any rain at this point. Then Saturday, around noon, we're starting to see some more thunderstorms begin to pop up, especially in Siskiyou County to the east. And this is where I think it's going to be a bit more active, and it could be kind of another incident where what we saw last night, where we did see some pretty strong thunderstorms. So we'll have to kind of watch that here, especially for Trinity County, Siskiyou County, and off to the east as well. But the valley looks like it's going to dodge any of these thunderstorms at this point. Saturday night, still some activity on the far east of the east side of the eastern mountains. So places like Susanville, for example, may see some activity Saturday night. But now let's talk about Hurricane Hillary. I mean, look at that organized storm, well-defined eye associated with this storm. This is a Category 4 hurricane right now with winds in excess of about 150 miles per hour, and it is expected to track itself off to the north, about 145 actually, to be exact, as of 2 o'clock this morning. So most likely it will have intensified here through the morning hours. So already Category 4 hurricane. It's not anticipated to get up to the next level of a 5, but it should hold on fairly strong for the next 12 to 24 hours. Weaken as it starts to get closer to the Baja Peninsula. Now, we're probably going to start hearing reports as soon as tonight and through the day tomorrow of some damage that we're going to hear about along the Baja Peninsula in the form of flooding, mudslides, not to mention the swells. And when you're looking at those very strong winds, you're going to be looking at those high swells along the coast here, and there'll probably be some coastal flooding in areas as well. Now, for Southern California, by 11 p.m. Sunday, look at that. We've still got 60-mile-an-hour winds. You still got some heavy rainfall. We're going to be talking about some pretty impressive impacts, or not impressive. You don't really want to talk about it that way, because we're probably going to be hearing about flooding and wind damage. And so this could have a significant impact on Southern California as we go into Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Now, as you can see, it's still a tropical storm, anticipated to be a tropical storm with 60-mile-an-hour winds, and then it will weaken significantly heading up to the north. Now, we're finally starting to see that there's going to be some rain associated with this, and this is why I've included just kind of what I call a broad brush forecast, a chance for rain for everyone in Northern California on Monday, and then the impacts of that storm should pretty much be out of here by Tuesday of next week. There's the temperatures dropping, a significant drop, upper 80s even for Redding by the time we get into early next week. Not the case today, though, but today's a transition day. We're dropping below 100 degrees for most of us in the valley today, so that should make for a more pleasant day, if you will, but still hot. A high of 100 degrees for Redding, 97 for Chico, and there's that chance for thunderstorms here once again. As I mentioned, I don't think that thunderstorms this afternoon and evening will be quite as intense as we saw in some areas last night. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook, and you can see for Siskiyou County, isolated thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And then I don't think they'll be quite as active as we get into Monday and Tuesday, but I'm still keeping the chance for showers Monday. I think everyone in Northern California sees a chance for showers Monday, maybe some leftover moisture on Tuesday, producing a few showers, but should dry out by next Wednesday, Thursday. Now, you'll notice for El Tour, Susanville, still seeing a lot of activity here, or at least a chance for some activity here for Modoc County and the eastern mountains here. through most of next week. But really, we just got to keep our eyes on over the next 3 days with a chance for more isolated thunderstorms here as we go through the weekend. All right, so for the valley, temperatures are starting to drop, especially by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but I've included a chance for some showers here for Monday for everyone in the valley. Again, notice those temperatures really starting to drop. We're in the upper 80s, mid to upper 80s. Chico 86, 88 for Red Bluff on Tuesday, Redding a high of 89. But then we're back up in the low 90s, but at least we're breaking far away from those triple digits, especially as we go into the second half of the weekend and early next week.